Okay, so we have Julian Malaka from Comprehensive. Okay, so our 10 minutes are already finished. So for now, we shall go to our session, and we are going to continue with growth and development, like most people have put it. Once again, I welcome you to this session. My name is Navende Adam. I'm always your facilitator here for biology. And this session is powered by Holistic Learning Platform. Like I always tell you, these sessions are also streamed on YouTube. They are also uploaded there. So anytime you want to maybe find something more about any topic from senior to senior 6, you're always free to go and follow them up there. Just type in Holistic E-Learning Platform. And then, of course, when you view the video, it's also good to like it and then put a comment just for visibility. So I encourage you to go there, at least subscribe to it to get any updates. Just in case next time maybe you fail to access the Zoom because of many people, you can also follow it up there on the YouTube channel of Holistic Learning Platform. Meanwhile, I introduced myself already. My name is Navende Adam. I'm your facilitator of biology, and for tonight. I'm going to take you through growth and development. We partly handled it last week. I think the other time we handled up to, actually we were on development. I think we had done a number of these, so we shall catch up from here. Development in plants. I don't know if that is fine. And like we've always agreed that anytime you have something to share, you're free to put up your hand. You know where we tap, and then I can unmute you, and then you can share whatever you want to share. Of course, like our order here is we don't abuse the chat room. You don't use hate speech. And also anybody is free to share up themselves as long as they don't go away from the topic we are handling. So we should remain within those rules. Anytime you want to share up something or you want to consult more or you want to give your idea, you're always free to put up the hand. Don't put it in the chat room as I will not be able to look it up. So we shall start with the development. The other time we're talking about growth, and said growth is simply an increase in size. But development is more of, it's just like when a baby makes 4 years and they are not walking or they are not running, they are still crawling. Of course, everyone shall be questioning. They'll be like, what's wrong with this baby? The years are increasing, but they are not walking. What's the problem? So those other aspects of development are those ones which you don't see increase, but they actually take place. And today we are going to go deep into them. Development refers to increase in complexity of an organism. This process continues throughout life and occurs by formation of new tissues and organs as a result of cell differentiation. So the other time we said that in the beginning, we always have what we call stem cells. Stem cells are cells which are not performing a specific function. So remember I said that even a human being, they always start from two cells. That's a sperm cell and an egg cell. At first, these cells just divide and make and increase in size, which we call growth. But now, when these particular cells increase and then they start specializing, perform specific functions, meaning after these cells dividing, a particular group of cells is specialize to become the nervous system. A particular group of cells specialize to form the digestive system. A particular group of cells specializes to form the urinogenital system. So that's what we call cell differentiation. So cell differentiation simply refers to cells specializing to perform specific roles. And when that takes place, it brings up the complexity, meaning we are going to have the 7 life processes take place in only one organism, which began from a number of cells dividing to form more cells. So cell differentiation is a process by which dividing cells undergoes changes in their structure which enable them perform specific functions or roles in the body of an organism. For example, in animals, the first type of cells in the developing embryo are called stem cells. So such stem cells are the undifferentiated cells, or cells which are not performing a specific function are called stem cells. So stem cells are undifferentiated cells that later on form the different cell types in an adult. Please, anytime, I know sometimes I'm a bit faster, but it is your duty to let me know if you didn't get something well, and then I go through again. Though I will try to be so much elaborate. So we have your stem cells. So when these stem cells divide to form these specific, like for example, you see our stem cells here. When these stem cells divide into osteocytes, this one, of course, the word osteo here means bone. And then, so anytime you see the word osteo, it shall be relating with something with bone. So when these stem cells differentiate, they will become osteocytes, which osteocytes divide further to form the bone. And of course, the bone is more complex. And then in this case, we have our stem cells dividing from the cardiac cells. And then which cardiac cells, when they join together, they form for us the heart. Now here, the heart is more specialized than the stem cells when they were here. And then for the liver, we see them divide into the hepatocytes, and then lastly forming the liver. And the liver is a bit of a larger complex organism performing different functions. And the liver, of course, it performs most of the functions in the body. And then here we have stem cells dividing to form for us the enterocytes, which enterocytes and later divide to form for us the intestines, which are more complex and more specialized. And then you have your stem cells dividing to form for us the neurons. When many neurons join, they form for us the brain. The brain is more complex, performing many functions. So when stem cells divide and then they differentiate, they form for us a well-developed organ which can perform a number of functions. So here, what do you think would happen if the cells didn't differentiate? Meaning, in most cases, you've often heard of someone having one part not properly developed. I know you must have you must have heard about people who actually don't hear, others don't see. Of course, we have all these conditions coming through. That one doesn't mean that it is a problem, but it means that some particular part of the body had, some stem cells didn't differentiate to end up with that particular, let's say if it's a blind person, then the stem cells didn't differentiate to form for us the photo cells, which are found in the eyes. So anytime differentiation doesn't take place, it means that we are not going to end up with a specialized organ, which can perform a specialized function. So cell differentiation allows cells to specialize and perform specific functions in the body. And this results into formation of tissues and organs in the body performing different roles. So growth and development of the shoot and root. So that was partly for us to understand the stem cells and their role of differentiating. I know people the other time were asking so much about differentiating. I hope we get it now before you can cross to the plants. Can you get the meaning of cell differentiation and why it is important? I'll check on the chat room here. You try to put up your hands. Please say something. Isaac, Anira, Romans. Do we now properly understand the meaning of cell differentiation and why it is important for all living organisms, most of them which are multicellular, to have their cells differentiate? Hey, am I speaking to myself? Put up the hand. Okay, I'll unmute anyone here. Kakoza Isaac? Okay, it seems to have ghosted me. Okay. I say that you put up the hand, don't simply type it. But okay, so let's proceed. Let's proceed. So, growth and development of the shoot and root. This is also important. Why? Because remember, we all depend on plants for food. For us, we are animals, and therefore we don't make our own food. And it is important to understand how these plants grow up and develop, such that we better explain how these plants can adapt to different conditions. And the main purpose of it, why we learn about plants in biology, is to make sure that we improve the food productivity of our country, such that we solve the problem of hunger. We have all the people fed and given cheap food because of increased agricultural production. So it is very important to learn about plants also, much as I know most people want to be doctors, but also learning about plants is also very important. And that side is called botany. So growth and development of the shoot. The shoot is the part which is above the ground, and then the root is the part which is below the ground. So unlike in animals where growth and development occurs all over the whole body, growth in plants only takes place at points or regions known as meristems. Now, you know that for us in human beings, or let's say animals, you can, for us, our body grows as a whole. Like there is no way you can only have one part of the hand growing bigger than the other. In such a case, to me, that there is something affecting it. So actually, that one. In case that one happens, then you should seek immediate medical attention. Otherwise, for plants, for them, they can achieve having one part only growing. And the parts which are able to grow in plants are called meristems. So the other time we briefly talked about meristems. Therefore, to go into detail of meristems. So these are the actively growing points or regions of the plant. Meristems contain undifferentiated cells. I know right now we know the meaning of undifferentiated cells. And as scientists, we shall call them stem cells, which continuously divide by mitosis. We remember the other time we said mitosis. Here, one cell divides to give us two daughter cells with the same chromosome number as the mother cell. So, meaning in this case, here meristems, they have their cells divided by mitosis, meaning they are going to end up with two daughter cells that form the rest of the plant tissues and organs. So we shall go through the types of meristems, all these parts which are able to grow. And the first one is the apical meristem. So these ones are found at the apex. That's where that word apical is derived. Apex means the tips of the shoots and roots. They are responsible for primary growth of the shoot and the root. Remember that primary growth here in the plants refers to the growing, going upwards. Then secondary refers to the thickening. So in this case, meaning growing upwards is the one we shall refer to as primary growth, which comes because of apical meristems. Apical meristems, it is derived from the word apex, meaning those meristems which are found at the tips. It can be roots or in stems. And then the secondary type of meristems are called the lateral meristems. And then, so these ones include the vascular cambium and cococambium, and they are responsible for secondary growth. Secondary growth refers to the thickness or widening up. So apical meristem for primary growth, going upwards or downwards. In other words, increase in length. Then increase in width is called secondary growth, which is achieved through lateral meristems. And of course, we also have the other types, which occur in monocots that we shall talk about later. So we shall go to primary growth. Please, anytime you find something not understanding, you have to raise up the hand immediately before I finish and then say I didn't understand it there. It won't make sense. Okay. Zion,
Good afternoon, teacher.
good afternoon to you.
I wanted to understand more on the second type of meristem, the
Secondly,
lateral meristems.
lateral meristems.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I know we are going to talk about it in detail here. I think let's first handle the primary. Otherwise, the lateral meristems involve the cork cambium and the vascular cambium, which are responsible for just increase in width, which of course means more widening. Like as the plant grows, it reaches a time when it must increase its width or formation of the bark. Okay, so the vascular cambium forms the xylem, which is often found in the middle, and then we have the other phloem found at the back. So we shall talk about how they form up here down. So meanwhile, for now, let's first handle primary growth. Any other questions? Okay, so let's proceed with primary growth. And this is the form of growth which results into increase in length of the shoot or the root. Because remember I said this one takes place at the apex or at the tips. So primary growth occurs by formation of the primary plant tissues, known as the primary xylem and primary phloem. Remember the primary xylem is mainly for transport of water and mineral salts, and then the phloem is mainly for transport of food. And of course, the movement of these always goes in opposite direction, where the xylem takes water upwards, while the phloem brings the food from the leaves coming downwards. So as a result of cell division in apical meristems found at the tips of the shoot and root. So primary plant tissues are formed from that. But note, it is the first type of growth to occur after seed germination, during which the radicle and polymere increase in length. In monocots and herbaceous plants, it is the only form of growth which occurs. So in the monocots are a bit different. And actually, remember, for even when like your compound, mostly they plant monocots, that's paspalum. Whereby for the monocots, if you cut them, they can regrow back, simply because for them they have another kind of meristem called intercalary, whereby it is able to regrow back. Okay, so in the monocots, we only have in herbaceous plants, we only have primary growth taking place, where it is simply an increase in length. Like we always see we rarely see the grasses widening up and becoming a very big plant. I don't know if someone knows of any monocot which can grow and become so big. So in monocots, we only have primary growth taking place. That's why you don't have any big trees which are monocots. So transverse drawings of the monocot stem and the dicot stem. So this one is simply showing you how the monocots stem, if you cut them transversely, like if you cut across, okay? So that's the way the monocot stem would look like. The outer part is called the epidermis, and then the ground tissue is this one found in the middle, and then these ones are the vascular cambia, the bundles, which make of course, the phloem and the xylem. So in this case, here in the monocot, they are just scattered all over. The phloem and xylem are scattered all over. Like you can see this way, anytime you cut across the maize plant or cane, or you can cut any grass. Here, the inside is just spongy, and you can't differentiate a xylem from a phloem. But in dicot stems, it is a bit different. The similarities, they both have the epidermis, but here the xylem and phloem are arranged at a center. At a ring, which is called the cambium, and the phloem is towards the outside, and the xylem is towards the inside. And then we also have parts like the cortex, which are nearer the epidermis, and then we also have the pith, which is the center of the plant, I mean of the stem. So this is the way it actually looks like. So for now, let's go to secondary growth. So, but before we go to secondary growth, one thing you're supposed to note about primary growth is one, it leads to increase in length. Okay. And in this case, it is achieved immediately after germination, where the plume must increase in the length going upwards, and then the radicle increases in length going downwards. And one point to note is in monocots, only primary growth takes place, while secondary growth doesn't take place. But in dicots, both primary and secondary growth take place. So let's go to the secondary growth. So this is the form of growth which causes the stem and roots of the dicot plants to thicken or widen or increase in diameter, and that is called girth. Okay, so like we clearly understand now, secondary growth only takes place in dicots. In monocots, does not take place. So secondary growth occurs by formation of the secondary xylem known as wood, and secondary phloem as a result of cell division in the vascular cambium, which is located between the primary xylem and primary phloem. So one thing you're supposed to note about secondary growth is one, it only takes place in dicots. Two, it simply refers to the increase in width, okay, or increase laterally, like widening up, which we commonly call girth here. And this one, of course, occurs by the formation of secondary xylem, and then which we commonly call wood. Of course, the back is the phloem. Okay, I don't know if you understand the back. Like on a tree, I think someone can tell me here if they've ever seen a tree before I can even proceed. Let me choose any person who has ever seen a tree. Kevin? Oh, Kevin disappeared again. Okay, there is Isadora. Isadora,
Yeah,
have you ever seen a tree?
yeah.
Which type of tree?
I've seen a bunch like eucalyptus, like there are so
Aha,
many trees.
eucalyptus. Perfect.
Yeah.
Have you ever cut a tree?
Never, but I've seen it a lot.
Oh, you've just ever seen it.
Yep.
Now we're on that eucalyptus tree, okay? So,
Yes.
but have you ever seen electricity poles?
Yeah.
The woody ones? You've
Yes.
ever?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So, do they cut them like that?
Like to get the bark.
To get that, no, to get that electricity pole. Is it cut like that? Like,
Could you?
is it its natural form?
Not really, but like the
Uh-huh.
brown coating on the top. That's a
Mm.
bit like how it looks, but not exactly. I think
Aha,
they
good.
like
So,
process
so there
and
is
remove
that, there is,
the productive parts.
aha. So there is that part they remove, right?
Yeah.
Or the back, the outside part.
Yes.
Aha. So that one is the one we call the back, which has the phloem.
Flowing. Yeah.
Yes. Now the woody part, the one which is going to make the electricity pole, is the xylem.
Yes.
So I hope that scenario can now help everyone understand. That's why I wanted to pick up someone and then we interrogate them such that others can also understand. So I hope at least everyone has understood the difference between back and then wood and then where the phloem is and then where the xylem is.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Isadora, for that. I hope we have helped another person understand. So, so you can lower down the hand. You can lower down the hand now. Isadora, you can lower down the hand. Please, thank you. So let's proceed now. So we say that as a result of cell division in the vascular cambium is the one which, like we saw it up there, it's the one where vascular here means comes from the word vessels, meaning we only have two types of vessels on a plant, which is the phloem and the xylem, which are located between the primary xylem and then the primary phloem. So let's go through how secondary growth or increase in girth of stems is brought about in dicot plants. So here during secondary growth, meristematic cells in the vascular cambium divide by mitosis. So meristematic cells the vascular cambium divide by mitosis, meaning for every one mother cell dividing, it shall give us two daughter cells with the same chromosome number. So after the meristematic cells dividing by mitosis, the cells formed on the inside of the cambium divide into the secondary xylem to form the wood. Okay, while the cells, those which are found at the outside, form the secondary phloem. Okay, the first one was meristematic cells divided by mitosis. When they divide, remember they are dividing along the vascular cambium. Remember the vascular cambium was some form of a ring. So the ones which are to the inside, they shall form the xylem. Here in this case is the secondary xylem, which we commonly call a wood. And then the ones to the outside shall form the secondary phloem, which we call usually we call it the bark. So as more secondary xylem and secondary phloem are added to the inner and outer side of the cambium continuously throughout life, the stem increases in girth or diameter or width. And by that happening, it means that that particular plant has grown and has attained the secondary xylem, the secondary growth. So NB, secondary growth, does not occur in monocots. I think I've already talked about this because secondary growth occurs at the vascular cambium, which is absent in monocot stems, but only present in dicot stems. So we can have a look at a normal dicot tree here, which shows the different layers. So at the center here, we have the pith, and then usually depending on the number of rings, remember I said these ones are formed as rings. We can usually, as a botanist, you can use those number of rings to determine the number of years a particular tree has grown. More so for those trees which take very long time to grow and reach maturity. So usually depending on the number of rings here formed, we can use them to understand how many years the particular tree has lived for. But in this case, we simply want to understand the parts. So remember I said that the primary xylem is found towards the inside of the cambium. So the primary xylem is here, and then the secondary xylem here, but still it is inside. Then we have the primary phloem here, and then we have the peridum. Peridum is the dead part outside here, and then we have the annual growth rings. I said we can use these growth rings to determine the number of years, meaning every ring represents a year. And then here we have the secondary phloem, this green one. Often it can easily be peeled off, more so when you disturb the bark. And then the primary phloem is in here. And then we have I think I talked about the peridum being the outside part. Then we have the cork here. And then here also have the cork cambium. Then we have the vascular cambium here, this blue one. And then we have the secondary phloem, which I've already seen this side. So that's the way it is. Remember, this one only occurs in dicot stems or dicot plants and doesn't take place in the monocots. Okay, this takes us to, so that was development in plants. I hope we have got that just very well before I can proceed to metamorphosis. Okay, anyone to put up the hand and say something concerning what we covered today? Concerning the second round. The development in plants. or how they have understood it. Of course, in case you don't talk, I'll simply come and pick up anyone here to talk on your behalf. I hate it when I'm teaching and it's only me teaching. I like lessons being interactive, eh? So that's why I force you to talk often. Kevin, I know you're the first one here, so every time I'll be looking for you. Kevin, Kevin, okay, Kevin can't unmute. Let me look for people down here. This is Samsung. Tekno, BG6M. Okay, there is Humaira here. Okay, Humaira.
Excuse me, teacher, can you scroll down a little?
Down, up. Like
Like
that?
there. I want to see
Like
the
that?
diagram properly.
Oh, this one, this diagram.
Yes.
This one, eh?
Yes, teacher.
Like that? Is that okay
Yeah.
now?
Yes,
All right.
thank you.
Oh, I wanted someone to say something concerning what we've covered, the development in plants. But anyway. Abigail? Abigail can't talk. Adibayo? Oh. Are people on riot? Okay, Tete?
Um, Excuse me, teacher.
Yes, please.
Like, can you elaborate more on the meristems?
Okay. Now we have two types of meristems, eh?
Yes.
Of course, you have the apical meristems, which are
And the
relating with
lateral.
the prime. Good. So apical meristems are responsible for the increase in length, and they are found at the tips, root tips, and shoot tips, eh?
Yes.
While the lateral meristems are responsible for increase in girth or in width, okay?
Okay.
And they are responsible for secondary growth, okay?
Thank you, teacher.
Is that okay? Then,
Yeah,
of
it's
course,
okay.
primary growth only takes place in monocots, and the primary growth takes place in monocots and dicots, while secondary growth takes place in only dicots.
Okay. Thank you,
Yeah,
teacher.
so that's how we can basically understand it.
Okay.
Luita, Luitaita. Hope it's right. Yes, Paul? Paul, unmute. Paul seems a bit far. Venus? Paul, talk. Paul?
Teacher, I was a bit off in the first part of the lesson, but I just have one question.
Yes.
Why is the secondary phloem coming before the primary phloem in this picture?
Come again. Why
Why is
is?
the secondary phloem? Why is the secondary phloem coming before the primary phloem, unlike the xylem?
Okay, sorry about that. My network a bit went off. So someone was asking that why does the primary phloem come before the secondary phloem? Of course, usually the primary phloem comes first, then the secondary comes in later. But of course, remember, this one is occurring because this secondary phloem is nearer the cambium, but it depends on the ring here. Okay, because like every time these rings are forming, okay, the rings remember form towards the outside, okay, as the tree grows, meaning the one which is nearer this side is just like how can I say it, like something round, and every ring which is being formed is going to have the flow, I mean the xylem go inside, okay, and then the phloem towards the outside. So meaning for before the other new one is going to be formed on the other ring of this, because remember this one is occurring yearly. So if the ring of 20, let's assume it is the ring of 2025, it already has the phloem mature secondary. Then the one for this year is going to be new. But now the whole thing is a primary phloem simply refers to, because it's coming from, it is the start design which is going to lead to the secondary. But this one is occurring in rings. That's why it is a bit confusing like that. But then I don't think we should take it as a serious issue as such. But remember, this is just, these rings are being formed as a tree enlarges due to secondary growth, due to widening. Okay. I saw someone like Paul. Paul. Okay, Paul went mute. Okay, so may I proceed now? Yes, Santos. Santos? Oh, Santos's hand was up, but they put it down. Okay, let's proceed to metamorphosis. We see there from a caterpillar growing up. We see how a caterpillar looks so bad and not beautiful at all. But as it grows, it is going to form for us a very beautiful butterfly. And that's what we call metamorphosis. And this one takes place in the insects. It's that we're going to study. Of course, even our life is also a life cycle, but here it is mainly for insects that you're going to handle. So insects are a series of, insects undergo a series of developmental stages from eggs to adults, and then you have mainly two types of metamorphosis. So we have complete metamorphosis. Here it undergoes 4 stages: the larva, pupa, the egg, larva, pupa, and adult, which occurs in insects like housefly, butterfly, and mosquitoes. Maybe, do you know any of the other insects which can undergo complete metamorphosis? You can put up the hand and you let us know. Other than these ones. Anra, at least let's everyone talk. We're only 70, if everyone can talk. Yes? Which one?
Housefly.
House? No, I don't want the one which is here. You're cheating. Another one? You only know housefly?
No.
Yes. Which insect do you know? At least you saw an insect today, I'm sure. Unless you didn't
I
move
was
out.
what's it?
You saw a wasp.
Yeah.
Good. So a wasp can undergo complete metamorphosis. Good. Everyone should talk at least. Santos? 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 Do you hear me? Okay, Venus. Rahim.
Kitu pia inanisumbua.
Santos.
Moths.
Santos doesn't seem to be with us. Venus.
Moths.
Moths. Who was that? Venus? I don't know. Okay. Rahim?
Moths.
Moths. Okay. Good.
Fleas.
Fleas. Uh-huh. By the way, before even, because I hope no one shall tell me a spider. Santos, if you can't talk, then lower down the hand so that I can see other people. Name.
Beetles.
Beetles. Good. You lower down the hand after that. Melody. Melody. Not there. S6611L. Tete. Yoram.
Bees.
This perfect. Tete, you can now lower down the hand. Good. Itel. S66. Joram. Itel.
Sazaflies.
Flies. Good. Joram. There is a bomboclat.
Cockroaches.
Cockroaches. Okay. Do cockroaches undergo complete metamorphosis? No, they don't. Okay. Can you think of any other?
Wasps.
Wasps. Okay. Though they mentioned them, but thank you. Samsung. There is someone who was common here, but they disappeared. I don't know who they are. I will look for them. Samsung. Samsung. It seems it's not closer. So we can proceed. So complete metamorphosis here, insects undergo 4 stages. There's someone who is not muted. I don't know who they are. Okay. So under complete metamorphosis, here insects undergo 4 stages. That's egg, larva, pupa, and adult. While under incomplete metamorphosis, this is a form of metamorphosis involving 3 stages of development, i.e. egg, nymph, and adult. Here the nymph looks like an adult, but here the nymph is not well developed. So it might look like an adult, but it's not yet an adult, so it cannot reproduce. An adult is the one which can reproduce or can lay eggs if it is a female. So it occurs in insects like cockroaches, locusts, or have grasshoppers. All the ones undergo incomplete metamorphosis involving 3 stages. Let's go through the comparison between complete and incomplete metamorphosis. Among the similarities is 1, they both start with the egg stage, or both have the first stage being the egg. Also in both, there are structural changes. There are structural changes of the organism. Like the pupa shall be, the any stage shall be distinct from the previous one or the one which they are leading to. And then in both, the adult has the largest size, yeah, like we saw up there. And then both involve molting. And that one takes us to a new word, molting. Molting refers to the shedding off of the exoskeleton or the outer skeleton of any organism. Often this is common in insects, and that one happens for an insect to increase in size. It is also common in insects. If an insect wants to increase in size, it will have to peel off its outer skin such that it will enable it to regrow. And usually during those stages, many such animals are very prone to, because they become very weak, meaning they are very prone to predation or any harm. So that's what we refer to as molting, shedding off of the outer skin of an organism. Differences, we have complete here and then incomplete this side. So under complete, it involves 4 stages. The other side, it involves 3. Each stage is considerably different from the next one. The other side, each stage might be similar to the next one. For example, an infant adult. And then here it has larva and the pupa stage, while the other side, there is no larva, like you saw in the incomplete metamorphosis. There is also no nymph in complete. The other side, there is a nymph. And then larva and adult feed on different foods. For example, I'm giving an example of a housefly. Giving an example, okay, even a housefly. The caterpillars can feed on leaves, while the adult housefly always goes to the latrines. Here, the nymph and adult have the same nutrient. For example, in a cockroach, the nymph shall feed like the adult. So I have an assignment here. We're going to do this assignment. You'll go and read the literature. You'll summarize descriptions of the life cycles of at least these insects. Of course, you will do it. Most importantly, I want you to get the different stages. Find out which stages are good and which stages are harmful. And then if they are harmful, how do we, if they are harmful in any way, then how do we solve that problem? But if they are good, how can we preserve the goodness in those insects? Or in those stages so that we can get the best for human beings. So that marks the end, and now we are going to humans. Any question is referring to insects, as we have covered the development in those stages. Tell me. Any questions? Also, I see people are chatting a lot in the chat room, meaning they are also abusing it. If you misuse the chat room, trust me, next time it will be blocked from you and you'll just stay here active. Something I don't want. So please, let's always pay attention here. Let's not put up a lot in that chat room. Meanwhile, for any questions you put up there, I will pick one person to summarize them, then they can read them out for me towards the end. So let me hear from Ramla.
Excuse me,
Ramla?
sir.
Yes.
I wanted to ask the definition of metamorphosis.
Oh. You want to know the definition? Do you want to know the definition or the meaning?
The definition.
But in a new curriculum, you don't need to know the definition. You need to know the meaning. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes,
should I give you
sir.
the meaning? Should I give you the meaning?
Yes.
So metamorphosis simply refers to the different developmental stages of any living thing, okay? Because I said even as human beings, we undergo metamorphosis because we have different stages of growth, just that they are a bit different because ours are continuous. So metamorphosis shall more mean the different stages organisms undergo to reach maturity. Okay?
Thank you.
Much as the new curriculum, I don't wish you to cram anything. It is about your understanding, okay? That's why I have these sessions and I make them interactive. It's not about cramming them up, okay? All right. So we shall always ask for the meaning, not the definition, okay? Bomboclat,
So I wanted to ask, are there
before
any...
you ask, is that your name? Or that's your gadget name, device name?
Yes, it was both under those names.
Okay, but that's okay. It's a good name. Thank you. So you can ask.
Thank you for your appreciation. I wanted to ask, are there any insects that go above 4 stages?
Oh, there are none, eh? All insects must undergo 2, I mean 3 or 4. Okay? And simply put it, how do you understand that something is an insect? Something is not an insect if it has 3 pairs of legs. Okay? That's the first thing. Also, second, it should have 3 thoracic parts. So much as we can see the spider also having many legs, it is not an insect. Eh?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
I hope I've answered you.
Yes, but like, how do we, let's say if it's a complete metamorphosis and an incomplete one, how do we differentiate?
Okay, just a moment. Okay, come again.
How do we find out that an insect has a complete metamorphosis and an incomplete one?
Now here it is a bit theoretical. Why? Because you already know that. Because unless you're doing, of course, an observation. Let's say you have your own group of insects, okay? And then you're studying them, want to understand which one is undergoing complete and which one is undergoing incomplete, okay? Now, for incomplete, it will like clearly you'll see like it only has 2 stages because from egg it will directly go to nymph. Now a nymph looks like an adult, just that it is reduced in size and is not well developed. Okay. While for an insect undergoing a complete metamorphosis, it will have 4 distinct stages, meaning from egg, it shall move to a very different stage, which is the caterpillar, which is the larva, and is the most active form in most insects. And then after the caterpillar or the larva stage, it shall go to a resting stage called the pupa. And then from the pupa, it shall go to adult, in which case they are all different from one another. Okay? So, but for now, I think we shall go a bit theoretical and understand that when you see a cockroach, then that one is undergoing incomplete metamorphosis. When you see a locust, when you see a grasshopper, they're undergoing incomplete metamorphosis. And when you see a housefly, a bee, or those insects we mentioned up there, then they're undergoing complete metamorphosis because they have 4 distinct or clearly different stages.
Stages.
Mm.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, Lujomi.
Yes, good afternoon, teacher.
Good afternoon to you.
Yes, I wanted to ask about why it's called ecdysis.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think I remember it under insects.
Yes.
I think I remember it.
I was answering, okay? Should I answer or you have something to add?
Yes, you should answer, teacher.
Okay, so ecdysis is more of molting, eh? But in other books they call it ecdysis because of a hormone called ecdysone, eh? The one which is responsible for it, okay?
Yes.
Ecdysis is the same as molting.
Okay, teacher.
Sometimes you hear of words like instars. They relate with that, eh? The time when the insect is resting and then when it is growing.
Yes.
Yeah. Elin Ari. A very hard name.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes.
I have a simple question.
No, there is no simple question. You just ask a
Okay.
question. Yes.
Like, why is a spider not regarded as a true insect?
Okay. So that is a very hard question. You're calling it simple. Okay. So just ask a question, okay? Never say it is a simple question, eh? So a spider is put under, because we put it, it is from animal kingdom, okay? Arthropoda, and then it is under, Arthropoda is the phylum, then it is under Arachnida, class Arachnida or arachnids. Arachnids have 4 pairs of legs, and then they have 2 body parts. And like you see, that is very different from insects. We said insects have three pairs of legs, and then 3 body parts. So because the spider has that, the spider has 4 pairs of legs. It also has 2 body parts. That's why it belongs to class Arachnida, then which is very different from insecta or insects. I hope I've answered you. Yes, S34. Are you there? Please, it's good when you put up the hand, you'll be near the phone. I hope you're not using a monitor. Yes? Please talk.
Hello, teacher.
S34.
Hello,
Yes,
teacher.
I can hear you.
Hello. Hello,
I can
teacher.
hear you.
Good afternoon, teacher.
Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, teacher.
Good afternoon to you. I can hear you. Just go ahead and
Hello.
ask. I can hear
Yes, I
you
would
very well.
like to
Just go
know to
ahead and ask.
elaborate me more about the. Yeah, I would like to know. I would like to know the specific names of some stages of some insects, like a housefly, as you call it. Like one of the stages called a maggot. Like in
Yes.
other insect, you find when it's called like a regular, like that.
Yeah. Chrysalis,
I would
what?
like to elaborate me more
That's
about
why I
that.
gave you that task to Gandhi. You remember the assignment which is above here? Let me show it to you.
Mm.
Here. You see this assignment?
Yes, teacher,
So
I've
you're going to
seen.
find out that they get different names, but the basis is always the same, okay? Are we together?
Okay, teacher.
Yeah.
Thank you, teacher. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, teacher.
All right. Ramla.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Determining an insect's metamorphosis, do you determine its body parts like a butterfly, or it is just theoretical?
You tell me where the problem is. Okay, let's assume for you want to go and determine the different stages. So what's the problem? You went off again, Ramla. Okay. So it's not theoretical, but you have to look at the structures. Okay. For example, from when you see eggs, there is some shape. Now, when you become an entomologist, you just look at some eggs and you say these ones are for housefly and these ones are for mosquito, depending on where you have got them and their shape. Okay. Then you also easily tell that these eggs have now developed and now they have become the larva, depending on the structures. For example, the larva usually is the most active stage for most insects. And then when it is the pupa, then you also identify that it is a pupa if it is inactive. Then when it is an adult, you also say it is an adult using the structures it has. In other words, you cannot confuse the larva for the adult. Okay? S34, I hope you don't have the same problem, otherwise you lower down the hand. If you don't have any other question. S34?
Yeah, I
You
don't
see?
have any question, teacher.
Yeah, then lower down the hand. Okay. So I need this sent to email or sent to WhatsApp. Okay. And we agree that when you're sending, you can take photos, but you take good photos, others are not see properly. You also introduce yourself. You say that, for example, I'm Opio Jude from St. Peter's College, like that, okay? So let's go to stages of human development, and I know this is very good for us. So, like you see here, you can use yourselves. There is a time when you were so young, they gave birth to you, you cried, you didn't know why you were crying, and then you couldn't. There is no way you could even eat anything. They were just giving you liquid things, and then you grew up. You began eating mashed food, Irish, milk. And then as you grew, you began eating hard food. You could cry for popcorn. You began cry for crisps. And then later you began now eating, as you grew up, you began even eating more hard food, cassava, posho. And then you grow, you become very strong. Even your reasoning changes. When you were younger, you could cry over dolls. Cry over small things, like then it reached a time and even if they put the doll, you can't pick it. You now wanted bigger things. When you're young, there are some movies you could watch maybe that you don't watch now. There is a point when you had very many friends, but right now you avoid them. So there are many changes. So right now you have many friends like which you didn't have when you're young. I know most of you are right now at the starting adolescence, and there are also those characters which are coming in. You want to be involved in everything. You want to be the one on TikTok. You want to be the one on WhatsApp. You want to send everyone messages. Hi, what? Others also don't want to respond to messages. So those changes which have come clearly reflect that we are developing, okay? We are developing. So even in the whole of your body, remember when you were young, before, I know right now you're at adolescence. When you're young, even if it is mom who could do everything, right now you're grown. You can't allow mom to like wash for you your inner wears. You do it yourself. So there is that change. There are those changes which have come in you that as you grow, they will keep changing. For example, right now you're in a stage where you must have many friends, but you reach a stage where you will avoid having many friends. And then you also reach a stage when you're old where even the real friends shall avoid you and you'll become so lonely. You'll no longer be straight like you were where you are now. You'll bend. You'll not have to walk. Maybe you'll need some support. So all those ones are a series of stages that take place, and each and everyone who is a human being can go through it until they die. So we are going to understand these different developmental stages that take place from the time you're given birth to until you reach maturity. Now, usually there is this challenge of who is mature and who is not. More so now, like adolescents, you like saying, "No, I'm mature enough." And then they said, "No, you're too young to use a phone." You assure your parents that, "No, I'm mature enough. I can use the phone." But when they said you need data, you'll have to go to mom or dad to get the data. So we are going to understand how does that come up, and when does someone be mature? And that's the most grand question that we have here. Maybe you'll even tell me what maturity means to you by raising up your hand. I'll pick like 5 people in only 30 seconds. How do you say someone is mature? Or have you ever seen a mature person? Put up the hand and you tell me. Rahim, where's Rahim? Where's Rahim? Rahim, yes?
So, teacher, maturity is the increase of reasoning capacity and thinking capacity, as well as increase in body weight. Yeah.
Okay. So for you, are you mature? No, don't go off.
Yes,
Are you
teacher.
mature? Yes?
Yes. Yes,
You're
teacher.
mature.
Yes.
Why? Because you can think.
For me, I
Think
can
and then
reason.
what? Can reason, eh?
Yes.
Okay. So to you, maturity is reasoning. Okay. Da Cruz?
Thank you. Maturity to me it means whereby a person has this ability where he's able to he has a sensible reason.
Sensible
And also,
reasoning, eh?
yeah, and maturity also
So,
it is by thoughts of a person.
okay.
Mostly
So for you, are you mature?
yeah, basing on the things I do.
Okay. So we shall, okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. I want a boy now before I pick Husna. A boy? Kevin, usually this Kevin is near, but he doesn't want to talk. Okay, Bomboclat?
Maturity.
Mm.
Give me a minute.
Okay. It's okay.
Maturity is the ability to behave and act in a calm way.
Good. So according to him, maturity is, okay, I don't know. Matthew, what do you want to record? You let me know why. Okay. So according to Bomboclat, maturity is when someone is calm and meaning they can handle their emotions. So let me pick Husna here. Husna?
Maturity is the stage or quality of being like fully developed, being able to think and feel like and act responsible.
Act responsibly. That's maturity. Are you mature? Okay. Tete?
To me, I think maturity is when you're fully grown in means of like I might say physically and emotionally, when you can like support yourself without need of anyone.
Okay. Have you ever seen a mature person?
Yeah, I think, yeah,
Who?
my parents.
Good. That's a good answer. Yes, Ellen, Ari, why are boys out of this?
Maturity refers to the state of being fully developed, either physically, emotionally, and intellectually.
Okay, great. That's a good idea. Where are the boys? I want the boys. They are nowhere to be seen. Who's lower down the hand? Eine? Eine?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Maturity is when you are able to like take responsibility for your actions and make wise decisions.
Okay. You have you ever seen a mature person?
Yeah,
Who?
I literally have mature neighbors.
Okay. Thank you for accepting that you're not mature enough yourself. Okay, man. I want to hear from a man. Good. I hope it is a man anyway. Man? Oh, man didn't. Cristiano? Man, again you. Okay, man, you talk?
It's the stage
of organisms where it's fully developed and is able to reproduce.
I expected a man. Why do you put man? It's okay. But thank you. Thank you for your input. Thank you. I hope you have ever seen a mature person anyway.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Cristiano? Oh, you unmuted. I mean, you muted. Okay. S34?
To me, I think it's when one can properly manage his or her behavior and respond to adverse situations properly.
Okay. Okay, good idea there. Cristiano?
Teacher, it's the state of being fully developed mentally and emotionally.
Okay, so are you mature?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for those inputs. And there is Samsung here. Okay, let me pick them. Maybe the last ones. Samsung? Samsung? Manela?
Being mature, I'm going to get it from a Bible verse in First
Good.
Corinthians chapter 13.
Good.
Being mature is being able to recognize that you are no longer a child, putting away your childish ways, and you choose to behave like an adult. Yes.
Okay. Of course, we shall not question the Bible. It's a holy book. And Samsung, you have something to say? It seems is not near. Samsung?
It's all about responsible thinking before acting. Yes.
Okay. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. It has been an amazing session here today, also concerning development. So, literally, when you talk about maturity, someone gave us a Bible verse, of course. Now, here we shall talk about biology. When you talk about maturity, it's not merely increase in size, but maturity is more of readiness to perform a task. For example, should you, like you're adolescents, majority of you, or you're in late or early, and then at times you'll be at home there, then you do something, and they said, mom said, no, you're behaving like a baby. I know you often you get that. Literally meaning what you're doing is not equating your age. For example, you're an adolescent, and then they put ice cream for the whole family, and then you can't eat it alone. They'll tell you, no, you're acting like a baby. Why? Because when you're a baby, your brain tells that everything is yours. Okay? And should they take it out, you'll feel bad and even cry. But when you become adolescent, you now try to understand that no, if I'm hungry, I'm not the only one hungry. Mommy could also be hungry. One other person, my brother, would also be hungry. They might also need to eat it, so I can't eat it all. Or rather, I'll even first ask, should I eat this? Otherwise, it might be for the visitor. So, maturity, we shall not take it as an ability to think or responsibly. A baby to crawl. A baby can be mature enough. Okay, a baby can be mature enough to stand. A baby can be mature enough to walk. You can also, for example, a man can be mature enough to have wet dreams or produce semen. A girl can be mature enough to menstruate. In others, that's what we refer to as maturity, readiness to perform a task. So, should we deconstruct from us saying that maturity refers to being able to think? It's not about that. Meaning, if someone grows and you expect you at 14, and there's something associated with someone of 14 doing, meaning you're mature enough to do that thing. When you fail to do it, it's that you are immature. Okay? So maturity is readiness to perform a task, not simply reasoning or doing anything, but it's more of many activities. Just like we see here, this baby here is mature enough to lie on their back. Here they are mature enough to crawl. Here they are mature enough to stand, mature enough to run. So like that until here someone is mature enough that they are unable to run very fast. Okay. So that is what we call human life. So I'm going to break it down part by part. And the first one here is infant. So infant is dependent on other people and develops bonds of love and trust with their parents. Often infants, actually an infant, according to research, they say that an infant who after breastfeeding from the mom, even if the mom goes away for 18 years, the infant can recognize that this is my mom. So during that stage of infancy, it is critical for recognizing their parents and the people they love. That's the time for developing the love bond. That's why children who are often detached from their parents or who are harassed at this moment, also in the future, they'll not show any signs of love in most cases. Otherwise, in this time, if you love the baby, they'll try to learn that act of loving and bonding and attachment, which makes them become better lovers in future. So during this time, it is for development of love bonds. And then you also have infants here start crawling and walking. They also learn to focus their vision. I remember when you're young in this critical age, I'm sure if you're given an egg to actually just carrying, let's say, over a distance of 100 meters, they tell you that you carry this egg and you take it to someone over there. In this stage, it is very easy that you will not make you reach with the egg because you easily throw it. Why? Because your sense organs are not well coordinated. When you're walking and then you see something fascinating, you'll definitely put your attention there and you'll even forget the egg. And when you realize you have already thrown it thinking it is a stone. So in this case, as you move from the early adults, infancy to old age, you start to learn to focus your vision. Remember, babies at first, they don't see properly. But remember, the beauty of life is when someone doesn't see properly, often the other sense becomes sharper. Just like a person who doesn't see. Often they realize that someone is closer to them before who sees realizes. So it is often a balance like that. So here in this, they focus their vision. They also develop curiosity to explore new objects. This is a time when the baby, if you leave a baby alone at home, they'll try to check in the TV behind there. Where do these people who speak in the TV come from? Is this cartoon hiding in the TV? So if you just don't attend to them, they'll often open up the TV and they might be electrocuted. That's why in most cases here they put things out of reach of children. Because they have very great curiosity and they want to touch and feel everything. This is the stage when, even if you give a baby a phone, they'll put it in the mouth. Simply, they want to test their senses, and they are in that curious stage. So here they also learn to play. They imitate behavior of others, especially adults and older children. I think you always see this. At this stage, this is when you try to mimic what mom or dad does. You even do it with your friends. Maybe cooking, you even imitate a wedding, everything. Maybe before I proceed, do you remember your infancy? Can you talk about your infancy? How it was? Two people only, girl, boy. Put up the hand. If you can pick that memory of what we are saying here, if you did it. Before I can proceed to the next one. Okay, Bombo Clat and Husina are the ones talking. Husina?
When I was an infant, what I remember is that I didn't like sharing. like
You didn't like
anything like
what?
at all. I didn't like sharing.
Sharing.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, babies are often mean because everything is theirs.
I was. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, everything is theirs only. That's good. Bomboclat?
When I was still young, it was kind of the same like for the other girl, but I also liked
Mm.
beating people a lot.
So for you, very aggressive. Okay, thank you. Another person? S34? Oh,
When I was still young, if I'm to remember
mm,
very well,
mm.
I used it to cry a lot. I used it to cry the mom whenever my mom could leave me at home. I used it to cry a lot. So I was bumped. I like that. Yeah.
Okay, okay, good memories. Viper C.
For me, when I was still an infant, I couldn't allow anyone to touch on me, like
So who
like
could carry
carrying me.
you?
Only my mom.
Oh, I think so for you, but I think even right now you don't trust people, right?
Yeah, I
Ah,
only
so it
trust my
began
mom.
from that time.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. After talking, wrote down the hands so that I can see other people. Galaxy, Da Cruz, God is with me.
When I was young, I used to be sweet. Like one time, there's a kid who asked for something, and I shared with it.
For you could share when you're still an infant. You are an
Yeah.
extraordinary one. Okay, that's good. Infants usually don't like sharing. Eine?
For me, what I can remember, I was very selective.
Okay. You had very few friends. I'm sure even right now you do it. Because what you do at that stage is what you also do in life. Joram? Joram?
I used to overwatch cartoons like that.
Okay. Okay, good. So let's proceed to the next stage. So you can lower down the hands now. Let's go to childhood, 5 to 12. Here the child starts to establish independence away from other people. So here, this is a stage where now you start doing some things on your own. Because even when you go to school, when you copy the work for the friend, the teacher shall even tell you it is bad. Sometimes they even discipline you. So here you try to do some things independently, and often because in most cases that time mom will have had another baby, and you'll have that anger in you. You will say that maybe you didn't want another baby. Of course, you were supposed to get those favors of being the only baby, but now the love has been given away. So you'll often try to start being independent at this stage. There is physical growth, which is rapid, and then appearance starts to become adult-like. So here you'll start reasoning. Remember, at first, there when you're younger, you couldn't share the toys. If any toy they bring, it is yours. Even dad is yours, mom is yours. Actually, anyone who says that mom is also mine, you'll even want to fight them. So at this stage, you start now trying to say that no, I think mom is for all of us. You said no, these toys we can share them. Actually, even if you have that friend, they tell you that don't play with them. You always look for them and you play with them in the hideout. So thinking is a little self-centered here, but understanding of other people's perspective grows. So much as here you're still self-centered, everything is yours, but you'll try to share a bit. And then you also, of course, here you're also mentally immature. Your reasoning is not so perfect because you'll always be saying, our car, like still everything is for you and your family. Okay, you can't try to globalize things. Even your intelligence is predictable in the way that they'll obviously know what if they annoy you, there is obviously there is a way you react that they'll always say, no, this is the way they'll do. Because usually at that stage and they annoy you, if you're short tempered, you will want to pick anything, you beat anyone. But also if you're long tempered, then you'll always be crying a lot. And always, if you're annoyed, you just distance. Maybe you go and sleep, or maybe you go and hide until the anger comes down and you go back. Language skills here improve as you, of course, you try to know many words. Here in language improvement doesn't mean that English. It means that the language or the words you use, they also increase in volume. Remember when at infancy there, the baby starts by using only one syllable. For example, they say ma. Then when they grow further, they say mama. And then you papa like that until they can make a longer word. So here you can make a longer sentence. And then here children can dress themselves socially confident in other areas of life like school, work, and they play a lot. So this is what we call at childhood. And this is, of course, the transition from infancy to adolescence. And I will so much focus on adolescence because that's where you are. So for adolescents or teens, now adolescents try to understand the principles. So they balance the principles and their wants or their selfishness or the self-centeredness. So much as here you say that you love something a lot, but you ask yourself, how can I strike a balance such that much as I love staying on the phone, or they bought for me this phone, but mom or dad doesn't want me to use the phone. So I should aim at using the phone, but making mom or dad happy at the same time. So meaning at this stage, you bring in the aspect of the outside world of you. So here, independence increases on how the child spends their free time, how they dress, and then the nature of friends. At this stage, in most cases, the nature of friends change. Now, remember when you were younger, there your attraction for the other opposite sex, you even avoid them, you hate them. Even in class, should you sit near a girl, you'll even cry the whole night. But here in adolescence, now you try to feel attraction for the other opposite. Okay? To the extent that some people always like being near their opposite sex than their same sex. And then here, even the dressing changes. You'll start disliking some clothes and then liking others. So here, effort to improve self-identity by trying out new things such as clothing styles. Of course, you always do that. You often like to follow up the musicians or the actresses and actors that you like. So you'll start, if the trousers, when you're young, you're putting on baggy trousers, you start making them fitted. If you used to like putting on some kind of church dresses, you'll start now saying that, no, I now want something like this. So here you'll try to improve your self-identity, how you're seen by others. While when you're at an infant, there you couldn't mind. You could just be given anything and you put on. So here, of course, even your lifestyles change. Clothing styles, you even start living music, friendship groups, there they change. And then the effort to improve appearance of self, including comparing one's body with those of friends and peers. You always do that, I'm sure. I'm only waiting to unmute, then I hear all of that. So then here we have sexual identity by trying out romantic relationships. It means that this is the stage when you, like we said, you get attraction for the opposite sex. And of course, here there is also pressure to have sex, though it is very wrong. And this is the stage which can make you a better person, also makes you the worst person, depending on your decision, because all the things here are done under pressure. Remember, here we said you're always comparing. We had this comparing yourself to others. So if your friend tells that I had an encounter, obviously you also push to have it, simply because of the comparison bit of it. So here you'll have to you'll try out romantic relationships, dates, pressure to have sex. All those come at this stage. But like we said, that is wrong. You're not mature enough to do it. Then eating disorders, especially for females. Yeah, here girls tend to be so choosy. There are some foods they like at the expense of others. Sometimes some of them will not even eat food. And sometimes that one comes because of the tensions and the comparisons you're having. You're forcing relationships which are not working for you, yet your friend is showing that they're having a working relationship. And this one builds up a lot of pressure on you. And then you might even lose appetite. Also, sometimes some people can prefer other meals over others because of maintaining their body shape. So all this comes in and it affects you. And then there is another one called mood swings. And this one is very present of course, it is in both boys and girls, though more common in girls. Mood swings are times when your moods change anyhow. Someone was happy and then all of a sudden they are sad. So this one usually comes at this stage. There's also stronger feelings and emotions or depression. Like we said, you have stronger feelings for something like that thing you want to die for it. If you want someone, let's say you want your opposite sex, you want a boyfriend, whoever shall be against them, you will take them as serious enemies. So here you'll have very stronger feelings and emotions. And often these ones, when you don't meet them, they lead to depression. Why? Because if they tell you that your mom says that you're still too young to be into a relationship, but for you feel that is the person you want, and even you do everything, even some adolescents do wrong, take on wrong decisions like escaping to go for clubs, end up in drug abuse, and this one comes because of pressure. But for you as a biologist who is learning this, you try to control this. Remember, I said much as you're an adolescent, more so if you're an early adolescent, uh, anytime you engage in improper, unprotected sex, you can easily contract HIV. Worse than HIV, there are also other infections which can be sexually transmitted, things like hepatitis B. And these ones are very deleterious. Like when you get it, obviously there is no cure, more so if it is got in its latest stages. Also, you might end up being pregnant. And imagine being pregnant at 12, meaning a baby is producing a baby. Often, you at that age, you're not strong enough to push a baby, so you'll end up on cesarean, which also has adverse effects. So, at this stage, as someone who has learned or who is learning in this lesson, your duty is always understand this is just a stage. You're just in transit. So, always, as a teacher, I say, you please keep yourself for your husband or wife. Otherwise, anytime you'll spill out anything, you'll be spoiling your future and you might not like it. So, most importantly, you should always put your health at the forefront. In other words, don't do anything which can put your health at stake. So, but the most dangerous thing is the emotions, of course, which come up because of pressure. But always, you should always, anytime you feel this building up, seek advice from your parents, mom, dad. Usually, moms are better, I think, to share with, but others have their dads. Also, you can see up a senior man or a senior woman teacher at your school. If you also have that teacher you trust, much as it is good to go to the senior man or senior woman teacher, because some teachers usually take that as an advantage to take on you. So it's good to go to a senior man or a senior woman teacher or the teacher you trust anyway to share with them, and then you share with them freely. Go to that teacher who will not share it out after you sharing with them, of course. And also be aware of predatory teachers or predatory mature people, like the way you take them, because some of them actually seek for those places. In those times when you're emotionally insecure, to also manipulate you. And sometimes they're the ones who can even put you in more harm. So you should be critical in thinking and always understand this is just a transition stage, which is leading you to the most important thing, which is adulthood, where you will be able to do whatever you want. The pressure to have sex you wanted shall be done in adulthood. Okay, so as adolescents, you should take care of that. So this is exhibited through unpredictable behavior, resulting into conflicts with peers as the child's brain is learning to control and express emotions. I think I've talked about that. So here in males, the most common changes that take place are the voice deepens. Often here the boys talk like they are in a pot. They bring up that bass. And then there is enlargement of the scrotum. Scrotum is the sac which carries the testes. It often enlarges as the testes try to increase in size so they can produce sperms. And then the testes and the penis also enlarge in preparation for copulation. And then the growth of hair around the genital areas. Sometimes I usually like asking that what's the importance of the hair in the armpits and the private parts. Of course, the main importance is that hair is carrying some normal fauna, or we call it normal bacteria that are that help keep the hygiene of that place safe. And then we have, of course, also under armpits. Also, it grows at the chest and the beards, and then the body becomes hard. This is the time when the boys become more muscular, and then chest widens. They also get wet dreams. Wet dreams are simply the dream that you're having sex with another opposite sex partner. So because of that, you end up producing semen. Then you also increase the attraction to girls. I think we talked about this earlier. We said you get attracted to opposite sex at this stage. And then in females, body becomes soft. Often this is the stage when the body becomes soft, it glitters, don't look like the way you were in a child. You become less muscular. And then there is also enlargement of the uterus in preparation for implantation. And then also fallopian tubes widen, increase, of course, for the egg to move. And then the vagina. The vagina is the connect between the vulva and then the uterus. And of course, this one is the place where the baby shall pass in that preparation. Then there is also growth of hair in the genital areas under the armpits, and then enlargement of nipples. Nipples are the front teats of the breasts, and then hips and breasts. And then there is softening of voice. Usually, of course, here the voice of the women tries to become more soft. And then menstruation and ovulation begin at this stage, and then there is increased attraction to boys also. So that one brings up the whole of what an adolescent is. So here you classify for me the above changes associated with adolescence into physical, psychological, cognitive, and behavioral. So I'll explain the meaning of this. Physical means the way your body is made up, which changes occur on your body. Okay? And then if psychological refers to the changes in your emotions, okay? How your feelings, okay? And then cognitive is in your reasoning. Then behavioral in the way you act towards others. Okay, I know this is beautiful, but there are questions which always occur, like before I answer the Cruz and the others who I let talk. There are questions which often occur. Someone says that, but I'm 12, I've not seen menstruation. Or I'm 12, but my scrotum is not increasing. Now, these are simply ranges, okay? There are even some people who can get the adolescence offset at 14. Others have it offset at 15. Even others might go late as 18, okay? That one doesn't mean that you're abnormal. You're clearly normal, okay? For boys, wet dreams are very okay. Also, if you don't have them, it doesn't mean that you're infertile. It is wrong. Another common thing is girls. They will often ask, what happens if I miss my periods? When you miss your periods biologically, you should be pregnant. But also, it depends. There are times when maybe someone is emotionally unstable. For example, they have lost a loved one. They are deeply distressed or depressed. They might miss their periods, or they are badly sick. They'll also miss them. So, for more information, always you can visit the school, nurse, visit any health facility to always get counseling. You can even just go there for consultations at time about your life. It is also good for you. Okay, at this moment, I'll allow only 5 people to ask any questions concerning adolescence, maybe before we can, or any misconceptions you have. Usually in setting, there are people who tell you that if you don't have sex, you're not strong enough. If you don't have sex, you not make a better wife. If you don't have sex, you not make a better husband. All those ones are lies. Anytime you go into a sexual act or encounter, remember you can change your HIV status. You can also make someone pregnant or become pregnant. All those ones can affect your life. So you should in any way just abstain from sex, and you'll have it all when you become married in the future. Okay, any questions? I'll start with the cruise. I should have a mix of boys.
Teacher, if you may help me
And
to
have
go
only
back.
one gender talking.
Teacher, if you could help me go back where you are
Yes.
from. If you could
There?
help me, yeah. I would just like take a screenshot.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Any questions? I know not talk because this is the stage you are in. You're free to ask any questions, any misconceptions about adolescence. No one is going to judge you, not even me. Good, it's private. So I can proceed if there are no more questions. Or anyone giving their experience of adolescence. Yes? None? Okay, I know you not speak it out. It's well. So we can proceed. So let's go to early adulthood. This is where you will lead to 20 to 40. So here physical maturation is complete. Here it means that height and weight may slightly increase. Physical abilities are at their peak. That's why someone asked one time that, can someone grow taller after 20? Often it is impossible, but you can grow, of course, fatter. You can increase your weight, but often growing taller is impossible. Though it depends on the development stage of a person. But if any average human after 20, you cannot increase any further. Here by 30, aging process begins. Lens of the eye starts to harden and thicken, resulting into changes in vision, especially difficult focusing close objects. So after 30, that's when, of course, it depends, depending on the way you keep your health. If you practice out, you're always doing physical activities, you often try to make yourself more active. But usually that happens after 30. Then sensitivity to sound decreases. Hair starts to thin and become gray around the age of 35. Here it depends. It may not be 35. There are even some people who can get gray hair as well as when they are young, before they are even at the adolescent stage. That one means that is genetically controlled, okay? So don't be there. You see, I told you the beauty of biology is we should appreciate the diversities we have amongst us, the human race, such that we don't judge people because of their height, we don't judge people because of their color, we don't judge people because of their accent. Those ones you have not for them. They are simply coded before you're given birth to. So some people can get gray hair as early as 35, while others can even get it at 50. Others can even reach 60 when it has not come. Skin becomes drier and wrinkles start to appear. So that one is later. And then immune system starts weakening. And this is the stage when someone can easily fall sick. And then reproductive capacity starts to decline. For example, erection in men and sexual desires in women. Here they start to decline after 40 as they try to focus on their future now. Middle adulthood is between 40 and 60. Here aging process is more apparent. Hearing further decreases. By 60 years, I lose ability to focus clearly objects. That's why you see them, most of the people putting on glasses at this age. And then skin continues to dry out and is more prone to wrinkling. You often see them. And then there is accumulation of fat in the stomach area. Yeah, you see that also. I'm sure you've ever seen that. Then women experience a gradual decline in fertility, and they head towards what we call menopause. And of course, after menopause, a woman can't give birth. So for those who have their mothers, most of it is usually starts at 45. At that point, my child will ask for mother to give you a last born, they can't give you there because they're already infertile. So we shall go to how teens can cope with the changes that occur during puberty and adolescence. Before we do that, I want to ask you one important question here. Which misconceptions do people have about about adolescence in your area? For example, I'll give you an example here. In most cultures, they say that stage you should have sex, and the more you have it, the more you become a better wife or husband. That's a wrong conception. Okay, it is a misconception actually. Like we said, don't practice anything which puts your body at danger. Okay, or which puts your health at risk. You shouldn't. Okay. So I want to get any misconceptions people have about adolescents. I'll start with girls. Boy, I think, yeah, I'll start with girls. 3 from girls, then 3 for boys. Misconceptions about girls who are at adolescence, and then misconceptions about boys who are at adolescence. Of course, for girls, we shall talk about misconceptions about menstruation. And then boys, we shall talk about also misconceptions about being a young adolescent. Okay, can you put up the hands? And don't tell me that you don't have them, because we all grow in communities. At school, even in school is a community, by the way. You're fearing to talk because this is your stage? Abigail? Achilles? Oh, people don't want to talk about themselves. Okay. A34?
Well, as
Yes? Yes?
at school, people always say that the person that in relationship, that a person under adolescent stage.
Talk freely. We're in a biology lesson, okay?
I think adolescent stage should have a girl that in relationship as like that. I'm saying,
Yes. Yes, I can hear you
teacher,
now.
I'm saying that at school people always say that at school that people always say that a person under adolescent stage, you get
Yes.
that someone to qualify under adolescent stage should have a girl in relationship.
Oh.
You get?
I get it.
Yeah, that you as that you should have a relationship with any girl, like those things of that kind.
Okay. I get you. Thank you. Leo?
People
That's
always
where we say that yes? People always do what? Oh, sorry. So answering
say that
S34, we say that here, this is when there is a lot of comparisons. Meaning they want you to have a
at school
girlfriend or have a boyfriend, which is wrong. Eh? It's not about pressure. Love is not forced, okay? Yes, Leo,
that
who was talking?
people always
Okay, Leo.
say that a person and adolescent
Leo? Rahim?
stage.
Teacher, for me in my
Yes.
community, they say that adolescent boys face less problems than adolescent girls.
I don't know. Is it network? Okay, Rahim, come again.
Teacher, for me in my community, they say that adolescent boys are most likely to face less problems than adolescent girls.
Oh, so they said girls will have more problems than boys. Now that one is also wrong. Both boys and girls are all at risk because of the emotional pressure. Much as girls, well, they have more challenges, most in the communities. There are communities which have not embraced a girl child because, of course, girls become more prone because of the nature of the menstruation. If you don't keep the hygiene, someone can easily bleed to death. So often, girls become more prone to such ill things. But as a girl, one, the best is always prepare and make sure to keep menstrual hygiene. I think it's important for every girl. And then for boys, the role they can do in menstruation hygiene for girls is you shouldn't stigmatize, okay, more so in the local setting there. Of course, people come from different areas. There are girls who can access a sanitary pad, while there are communities where girls are unable to access a sanitary pad or sanitary towel. And such things even keep girls from attending school because a girl shall be scared. Should I go to school and then my menstruation starts from there? What shall happen? So, as boys, we support the girls. We shouldn't stigmatize, okay? Anytime you should understand girls must at that critical stage because most of them are getting their menstruation for the first time, so they are often completely disturbed. Often they will get mood swings, but you should bear with them, support them, okay? Don't just tag them, say that one is that. No, it is just natural like that, okay? So for the girls, you also sensitize other girls about menstrual hygiene. Also, it is okay. There are times when for you have your sanitary pads and then your friend doesn't have, you share with them because some of them can't afford them anyway. For boys, you don't stigmatize, okay? Support girls and always, if possible, if there are donors where you can free talk about them about menstrual hygiene, do it. If you're on TikTok, you have a great following, please teach others. Tell them, talk to them about menstrual hygiene. Okay, you might save many people. So the power you have for you as a student is one. You can encourage others. Use your social media platforms to do that. Otherwise, don't stigmatize. Okay. And also, it's good to get a skill of learning reusable sanitary pads. I think it is also a great one that you should get you to learn about. Whether these skills are organized. Also, it is good to seek attention from health facilities where need be. There are counselors at health facilities. You can visit the school nurse. You can visit the school senior man teacher or senior man teacher. And also desist from sharing information from people who don't need it, who can usually manipulate you and then they use you for their advantage. They don't. So let's sum up. I know it's already time to end the lesson almost, but let's proceed with how teens can cope with the changes that occur during puberty and adolescence. And this is critical for you. One, talk to what you expect. So in case, let's say, normal flow for a girl might take like 2 to 5 days, normal, 2 to 3, like that. So the moment you're getting it abnormal, then you visit a medical facility or a doctor immediately. Also, even in boys, should a particular change take place and is so drastic, like it is beyond what you normally see from others, then you should go and seek medical attention. Surround yourself with the people the same age as they are. So often that's why it is just normal that you always have to associate with people of your similar age. Because you share the same characteristic changes. And by doing that, they will teach you something maybe. For example, you're a girl, and then you are actually in a class where the things happen. Don't distance from yourself. Find up a friend, tell them, no, this is happening. How do I do it? Obviously, they'll teach you something. Or if you're in a school, look out for a student leader. You're a girl, go to a head girl, ask her, I'm undergoing this. How do I do it? Okay. Then talking to adults such as mothers, teachers, school nurses, counselors who have experience. Okay. And we say that for questions of sexual harassment and others, please talk to trusted teachers or even trusted school nurses or even trusted counselors. Okay. And then thinking positively about your body changes, learn to love your new appearance and be confident about your new image. So also love yourself. There are some people who will get some pimples in the face. So don't hate yourself. Like don't try to achieve something you can't. Okay. Be proud of yourself for whatever it is. Okay. And the other is by accepting yourself the way you are. That's the only way you will have to move on. Then do regular exercise. For those people who are sports women and men, do it regularly, okay? But also most importantly is be prayerful. It also helps soothe your body. If you're a Muslim, that the number of times you're bending down, that is exercise also. If you're a Christian and you go and then you do some praise, it is also safe for you. So all that is good. Do regular exercise and then maintain proper hygiene. And this is very important most of adolescents because you're at that stage where the skin is producing a lot of sugars which encourage bacteria to come. And often when you don't bathe, the bacteria shall come and feed on these sugars, therefore making you produce a very bad smell. So that's why it is good for you to bathe and then keep yourself clean and keep your personal hygiene proper, such that by doing that, you'll be attractive. And then if you don't do that, if you don't keep personal hygiene, if you're a girl, for a girl, it is even worse. But even for a boy, it is also very important to be smart and bathe, not regularly, but daily. And eat healthy food. Healthy food can be like fruits. Some people can have them in form of juice. Don't some people can be like, I'm taking soda. Soda has all nutrients. Take those fruits the way they are naturally. Mangoes, those lemons. Often those ones can help even make you appear better. So you can do that to keep yourself safe. So that is aging, and that's how it occurs. So let's go through aging, because this is where you'll also end up one time. If you have a question, you put up your hand. So aging is the gradual decline in the efficiency of the physiological functions which are necessary for the survival and reproduction. So as a person grows older, often they will fail to give birth. Of course, like we saw for women who have reached menopause. Also, their medical condition sometimes declines. Here they become more sickly. So the process of aging begins right from the time an individual attains adulthood until death. So it's that when you right now you can do anything because you're adolescents, but after 20, there's something you're not to be able to easily do. So how do you know that someone is aging? First thing is blood vessels harden, and such that they hear. Okay, so there's something here, such that it was supposed to be they use too much pressure. And then this increases the risk of hypertension. Usually, that's the time when people get high blood pressure. And then bones shrink in size and density. which makes them weak and can easily fracture. That condition we call osteoporosis. And then more constipation due to age-related structural changes in the colon, that one also takes place. And then bladder becomes less elastic, and here meaning they will not easily hold the urine. And then loss of neurons resulting into reduction in brain functioning. See, neurons are the ones responsible for reasoning. Anytime they reduce in number, someone cannot reason properly, and that's when they end up with memory loss, or the case which is called dementia. And then we have great decline in hearing, and here this one also happens. Lens weakening, meaning they will not see properly. Gums and teeth become more vulnerable to decay. Then skin becomes very dry. Decline in sexual desire and performance. In females, vaginal dryness causes extreme sexual discomfort. For men, impotency becomes a concern. And then metabolic diseases also come. And then reduced immunity to diseases. And that one marks the end of this. I've gone 10 minutes, actually 11 minutes into the time I was supposed to have with you. Unless you have any questions to give me. Otherwise, I would wish to end here. Any questions? Say something before I can close this session. I know the number of people has already decreased. Rahim? Are you Rahim? Because I'm hearing a woman. A girl.
Not teacher.
That's the... Okay, good. Can hear you.
So teacher, is there going to be an extension?
Is there?
Is there going to be an extension since internet was cut off for like a whole week?
Oh. Now they'll let you know. Okay? They'll let you know, and just in case. Okay? Definitely you'll get the timetable if it comes out. Next time we shall handle Gasha section also to just let you know. Erin, Ari?
Teacher, for the case of us who aren't in the group, how could we do that?
And then how do you access this lesson today? Oh, the link is continuous, right?
Yeah.
Now, you'll just see, but definitely you'll get to know the report immediately, okay?
Okay, teacher.
Yeah, I'll let you know just in case of anything. Is that the end? Any other questions? Okay, I think we can end here. You've been a wonderful class. Though you've not been so interactive as such, but at least we have tried to share a number of things here and there. And I hope this lesson is part of the crucial things embedded here in biology, which happens on your lives. So we should be critical about our lives as adolescents and take care, put your health first, okay? So focus time on revising to understand these concepts properly, so that by the time you reach, it reaches school time when you have some concepts and you can also easily respond to some items which come therein. For now, on behalf of Holistic Learning Platform and my own behalf, I thank you. I welcome you back for the next, I think the next week shall give us the last sessions of that time. Then we shall come to an end, definitely. So thank you for being here. I remain Navende Adam. See you soon. Keep safe.